It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. This guy right here, he has been all over the news. When it comes to our civil rights, he is always right there. When Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin needed someone in the case for Trayvon Martin, they called Benjamin Crump. When the family of Breonna Taylor needed someone, they called Benjamin Crump. When Pamela Taylor screamed, "I'm pregnant," and she was shot by a police officer, they called Benjamin Crump. For 8 minutes and 46 seconds, the officer kept his knee on the neck of George Floyd as he said, "I can't breathe." We cried for him, but we called Benjamin Crump. On the phone with us right now, Attorney Benjamin Crump.
I got to tell you, he's probably one of the hardest working attorneys in this country fighting for our civil rights. Man, we just need to embrace you because I know you're not getting no sleep right now.
Well, y'all keep praying for me, Rick and Sasha and my buddy George. I'm so grateful to be on with you all to talk about how we continue to uplift the culture.
Absolutely. You know, one of my biggest memories was, and I know George and Michael Bazin, they were working on it, but I had been on the radio for like 9 years. And when I came back to work at Hot 105 in Miami, one of my big assignments was when the George Zimmerman verdict came in, and I was living all the way in West Palm Beach, and I had to go to Miami. Phil said, when this verdict comes in, we want everybody to come to the radio station. So I just got out eating with my family at 10 o'clock at night. He said the verdict, came in. You got to drive all the way back an hour to Miami so we can all be on the radio. And I was like, oh, my God, who is this Benjamin Crump? Like he's starting trouble already. Jeez.
Good trouble.
It wasn't the
good trouble.
It was good trouble. It wasn't the outcome that we wanted at all, but you fought a good fight and you have been doing it ever since, man. We are so happy to have you here with us, Benjamin.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
No, thank you, Rick. And we have to remember, we have to stay on these prosecutors because the same way they prosecuted the case like a fish out of water and did not treat Trayvon like they treat all these other cases where they're prosecuting black people, we have to hold them accountable.
That's
As
right.
a private
Absolutely.
lawyer, all we can do is fight for the family in the civil court, which we always win. We've never lost. We continue to get the compensation in the wrongful death case, but these prosecutors all over America, we have to stay on them, whether it's the Eric Gardner case, the Michael Brown case, the Tamir Rice case. Now we're in George Floyd. Now we're in Ahmaud Arbery. And God knows we're fighting for Sister Breonna Taylor to make certain that they charge these officers, but not just charge them, Rick and Sasha and George, but also get conviction.
Absolutely. Let's switch it up for a second to talk about Pamela Turner in Houston, who was shot by police as she screamed, "I'm pregnant." We'll talk about that when we come back. Attorney Benjamin Crump is with us. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're talking to Attorney Benjamin Crump. You know him from the Trayvon Martin case, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Pamela Turner, who doesn't get a lot of press. She was a lady who was shot and screamed, "I'm pregnant," as an officer shot her in Houston last year. Let's talk about that case, Attorney Crump.
Yeah, thank God to you, Rick and Sasha, for bringing that up, because I think it's going to become a much more popular case, but right now they're trying to sweep it under the rug, and I think Pamela Turner's case is one of the worst executions by a police officer I have ever seen it. And I'm not just saying that because it was this black woman, but it's a black woman who's doing nothing wrong, Rick. She has committed no crime. She is going to the garbage can. She's picking up trash, and this police officer approaches her and literally, Sasha, assaults her on the cell phone. We get to see it all. And he then struggles with her and then pulls out his taser and tases her. She is on the ground. He gets up off the ground. She struggles to take the taser from him because she's tasing him. What would you do? And then this coward who is on his feet, he has created distance. He's about 5 feet away from her, but yet, George, he shoots at her 5 times while she's on the ground screaming, saying, "I'm pregnant." And he doesn't care about her life, or he doesn't know if she's pregnant or not. And obviously he doesn't care about whatever life that might be inside of her. And we watched this, And it's been a year and 3 months now, and the prosecutor claims to still be investigating y'all. So thank y'all for talking about this case, and we have to make this video go viral. George Floyd video on YouTube has been seen 1 billion times. Pamela Turner's video has only been seen about 3 million times. We got to keep saying it. Say her name, Pam Turner, just like we're saying Sister Breonna, because Black women just don't get the same attention and recognition.
Right.
We don't. That is so true. Benjamin Crump, Breonna Taylor, as we were talking a couple of days ago, I wanted to talk to her mom. How's her mother doing?
She's doing good. She's going through a little personal health issues, so she's taking care of that. And so, Sasha, when she gets ready to do interviews, I'm going to do everything in my power to have her come on and talk to you and talk about how you personally and Rick and George have been really fighting for equal justice for Breonna Taylor and Black women. I was so thankful Oprah Winfrey put her on the front cover of her magazine.
Yeah.
The first time that she's ever put a social justice issue on the cover. So I know Gayle King and her were very instrumental in working on that. So if all us working together, Sasha, standing up for Black women, we can help correct the narrative in America, because we remember what Malcolm X said. He said that the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. He said the most unprotected person in Black America is the Black woman. And George, he said the most marginalized person in America is the Black woman.
Attorney Benjamin Crump is with us. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're talking to Attorney Benjamin Crump. You know him from the Trayvon Martin case, also Breonna Taylor. Pamela Turner, we were just talking about her, young lady who was shot in Houston, Texas, about a year ago as she yelled I'm pregnant. She was killed by police officers. And George Floyd's case.
Tell me this, man. How do we continue to have hope when we have an attorney general who will pepper spray and move away peaceful protesters, but won't send one squad car to people who are storming a state capitol? I mean, when we're looking at what's happening in regards to justice, how do we combat this to the highest level?
Hey, my brother, the first thing we got to do with this administration is get rid of them.
That's right.
We got to get out and vote in November, man. Because I don't think we can change their hearts and minds. They have an agenda. They believe what they believe, and that's just that. So every day we got to try to tell young brothers and sisters who keep trying to say, well, my vote don't matter, it don't make a difference. It makes a tremendous difference. Who is the president? Who gets to pick the attorney general? Who gets to pick the Supreme Court justices? And who gets to pick these federal judges? Because as you know, Rick, it's these judges who are appointed by Trump who are going to be on the bench for 20, 30 years. And so even after he's gone, they're going to still be giving trumped-up convictions to our little brothers and sisters. And so that's what we got to do first. And then the other thing, if I may, Rick, I was just with George Floyd's family in Virginia at what is known as Monument Avenue, where all the Confederate generals have their statues, and they're starting to take a few of them down, but Trump and them are fighting to take the others down. And Change.org projected a hologram of George Floyd's image, a symbol, because symbols are so important when you think about what psychologists say, how they affect your mind. Even without saying anything, once you see something, it sends signals to your subconscious brain. And so when you see those Confederate generals who are all fighting to say that Black people should be enslaved, and we're celebrating them, it says something to us. But George Floyd's hologram says something different.
Absolutely.
Because it was uniting us. And the one thing it said, Rick, was this here, that we affirm the Declaration of Independence when it says we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equally, that they're endowed by their Creator by certain inalienable rights. Amongst them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, we believe that. Stonewall Jackson, General Robert E. Lee, they were an affront to the Declaration of Independence. So why would we celebrate traitors who attacked our country? And that's what I think Barr and them and Trump and them are perpetuating. And so they always going to treat us as the enemy for trying to say we want equal justice and we're equal to you, because they never believed it in the first place by celebrating these Confederate
That's right.
Attorney Crump, the updates on Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, how is the cases going?
Attorney General Keith Ellison, the first African American to be Attorney General in the state of Minnesota, a good champion for civil rights. He has charged all 4 officers, Chauvin with second-degree murder, the others with aiding and abetting. If convicted, they all can get up to 40 years. Chauvin can get up to 50 years. Feel very confident that they are going to be able to get them held accountable. Also feel very good about Ahmaud Arbery. It's moving. Oh, you asked for the update. September 11th. I know it's September 11th, Sasha, but that is going to be a main day in the George Floyd case. That's when the judge is going to get all their motions to dismiss the probable cause. We think they're going to fail, but they have that right because of due process.
So, Attorney Benjamin Crump, when we come back, give us a date because people want to know when are these guys going to trial. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. It's Rick and Sasha with George Wilborn. We're talking to civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump, and he's updating us on the George Floyd case. So when are these guys going to trial? That's what we need to know.
The trial is set for March 8, 2021. March 8, 2021. They're going to try to move and change the bill and everything, Rick, but I don't think it's going to work. And I digress for a second because they keep saying, well, we don't know if the officers can get a fair trial. I want to ask you all a question to Rick and Sasha, nationwide audience. Have y'all ever heard when a black man was being charged with a crime, anybody say, well, we don't know if they can get a fair trial?
No,
never. Yeah.
But when it's a white person kill a black person, whether it's Trayvon, Michael, anybody, they say, oh, well, they can't get a fair trial, so we're not going to play that game. Breonna, no arrest, black attorney general for the state of Kentucky. He is Mitch McConnell's longtime assistant, super conservative. We got to keep the pressure on him. Yeah. They haven't charged. We had a major victory in the civil wrongful death lawsuit, Rick, yesterday. The judge ordered that they had to give us all the police communications, all the walkie-talkie communications, everything. And so as we go through that, we'll let you all know. But Breonna Taylor, they are trying to sweep it under the rug. Yeah. We cannot let them sweep it under the rug.
We must not and we cannot. And those were orders from John Lewis. Any final words on this great man before we leave?
Yeah, I just go back and I think about him and Dr. King and their moral philosophies. Legality cannot be our standard for morality. What do I mean, Rick? Just because it's legal, that don't make it right. We have to remember everything Hitler did to the Jews in Germany was legal, but that didn't make it right. Slavery was legal. That didn't make it right. Segregation was legal. That didn't make it right. So what we have to do is continue to stand up and demand that if the laws are not in concert what is right, then we have to continue to challenge the laws. And that's why in my book, Legalized Genocide, Open Season Legalized Genocide for Colored People, we have to challenge the very laws that are killing our people, because we can never ever say just because it's legal, then that makes it right.
That's right. Attorney Benjamin Crump, thank you so much for giving us your time. We appreciate you.
Listen here, for all that you're doing for us, you make sure you're taking care of you too, okay?
I appreciate that, Queen. God bless y'all.
God bless you.
All right, brother.
Take care.